Good afternoon, everyone. Please let me know where you're watching me from, and also let me know if you are able to hear me clearly. I just like to know where people are coming from, where they are, where you're watching me from. It just helps me understand that my distribution of viewers and listeners. Thank you for joining. Twambo Kalembe Twambo. Thank you for joining. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but I want to offer my views on the constitutional making process, the review process that's going on right now, and okay, so here is my view. The constitutional making process that is going on right now is important. It's important for the country. It is important for everyone to pay attention. I'm one of those people that on one side supports the president, and on the other side, I have been from the beginning against the review of the Constitution. I've been against Bill 7 from inception. And I'll give you my views why I'm in this dilemma. I call it a dilemma because I genuinely think that President Hakainde Hichilema has performed exceptionally well in recovering the economic quagmire that we were involved in as a country, the economic paralysis that we were facing as a country. President Hakainde Hichilema has done an amazing job to reconstruct the economy, to make sure that the economy is fixed, our debt restructuring is done, to give us some breathing space in the economic space. And so that's why I'm a little confused why he has to push for this constitutional amendment now. Given all the work that he's doing, that is such a huge legacy on him, a huge positive legacy on him. The president and his team have pushed this constitutional amendment. Remember where we're coming from. The first time they tried to push it through parliament, I think the Constitutional Court came back and said, this is not right. The Constitutional Court gave an opinion. The president listened to the pressure then and withdrew the bill from parliament. Okay, a lot of people came out that this is not right. There is no way we can do and amend the Constitution without the public input. And so, if you remember, this was almost coming up for a vote in parliament. And the people pushed back, just like they're doing right now. A lot of people said, this is not okay. We can't do amendment of the Constitution just by parliament. And so the president listened then. The president, withdrew the Bill 7 from parliament. And he instead constituted a technical committee, this technical committee, to go around the country to have the people present their views, get involved, and so on and so forth. And so on that part, I think we all need, even that time when the president did that, we praise the president, that the president has listened to the people, that the president has listened to the advice of the people. The people pushed back, the president listened, he withdrew the bill from parliament, and then he constituted the technical committee to go around the country to ask the people's views. The contentious, a lot of my fellow UPND members are saying, a lot of people that are against the bill are not saying what is wrong with it. And they are concentrating on the process. Yes, there's two things that need to be understood. The process is important because the process, once is accepted by the people tend to feel that the process was fair, the process was representing everyone's wishes, and the nation, once they have a feel that, okay, this process is fair, it's going to be representative, then you can have a comprehensively agreed upon ways of reviewing the Constitution. Okay, that's point number one. The people are saying the process is not fair. And let me ask you this question. And everyone, each camp keeps saying, which people? The WAS Forum, the PF, the MMD, the opposition, they are all Zambians. You might not like them. You might not like the PF. I don't like the PF. I fought the PF. I campaigned for President Hakainde Hichilema to be in power. And those people are still Zambians. You might not like them. You might not like what they're saying. You might call them criminals. Whatever you call them, every Zambian, opposition, ruling, church, religious, Islam, Muslims, Hindus, Christians, they are all Zambians. They are all Zambians. So when I'm very surprised by some of you that come on these Facebook media posts and ask, which people? Which people are you talking? Who are you to ask another Zambia which people? Because there's no Zambian who's more than a Zambian than the other. These are very divisive questions. Which people? Okay, the WAS Forum is people. The WAS Forum is people. If you look at the composition of the WAS Forum, it actually represents a lot of people. The WAS Forum has CCZ, Council of Churches in Zambia. It has the Catholic Episcopal Conference in Zambia. We have all these, and the opposition leaders, they are all Zambians. So before you begin to ask me which party I support, which president I support, which one, every one of us are Zambians first. And so there are Zambians who oppose Bill 7, whether you like it or not. The president himself acknowledges that. So who are you to come here and say which people? Which people are you referring to? Who are you yourself? To dictate to everyone else. We are 20 million Zambians in this country. 20 million Zambians. Okay, so let's have respect. Let's respect each other, and let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and begin to listen to each other. Just like the president said, dialogue and conversation is important. Don't denigrate other people because you want this Bill 7 to go on, or you don't want this bill to go on. Don't say, who are you? Who are you? No, we are all stakeholders in the Constitution. So this idea, no, who are you? Who is this? Who's that? Who's that? No. The worst forum leaders are all Zambians. There is no one person in the country who's more Zambian than the other. So let's stop with this silly questioning of each other, which people. Okay, did you see the Owasi forum? There's bishops of Catholic bishops who were there. Bishops of I saw my own bishop there, Bishop Emmanuel Chikoya of the Anglican Diocese of Northern Zambia. Yeah, people who are in support of that bill are respected. In fact, you are winning by all means necessary of this. Let me just tell you where this thing is going to pass, because the president and his team and everyone have put their mind that this thing has to pass. And using government machinery, they're going to pass this thing. Just like Chiluba did in 1997, just like others have done in the past, it's going to pass. But this does not mean that people have to agree to everything. There are people who genuinely oppose this. And there are people, some of us personally, I just don't think that we should set a precedent where we have to have an amendment of the Constitution every 5 years. It's a very bad precedent. That is all. That is my first point of opposing this bill from the beginning. I just think that the Constitution amendment, the Constitution itself as a paper, which we all agree in the way that we should be governed, that paper has to really be representative first and foremost, and it has to, at least we all agree, that paper cannot incorporate everything we want. That's why you have subsidiary laws. You have subsidiary laws that actually, are supplementary to the Constitution. You're not going to amend the Constitution every 5 years. Every 5 years. Every 5 years, we have to amend the Constitution. No. What issues? Let me remind you how we got some of those clauses that you want to reverse. Let's talk about some of those clauses, the amendments you want to make. Some of you might forget. Maybe you are young, or I don't know. In the last constitutional review, the public and most of the people felt that the local government was too politicized. The local government at council level, municipal councils, city councils in the country were politicized. And so in the previous constitutional review process, it was proposed that the MP be removed from sitting in the city councils. That came from the people. That came from the people. From the previous amendments. Remember, MPs, members of parliament, used to sit in the city council and municipal councils. I'm not sure which constitutional review. I think it's the one that the Lungu signed. And that technical committee, because you got to understand, President Lungu, the late President Lungu, didn't constitute his own technical committee. He didn't. President Lungu signed into, appended his signature, assented to the Constitution that was done by the SATA, Michael Chilufya Sata's technical committee. Michael Chilufya Sata set up a technical committee to review the Constitution. And what that committee did, in fact, while they did some meetings across the country, what they did, they took all the other amendments that were done, the other constitutional review reports that were done before that committee to harmonize the most popular clauses. When that report was presented to the public and to President Sata, President Sata grew cold feet to assent to that report. Okay? I want to give you a little bit of we are not all just ignorant. We've been through this before as a country. President Sata refused to assent to that constitution up until he died. After he died, President Lungu, one of the things that he did, President Lungu, one of the things that the first thing that he did was to assent to the constitutional review that was done by the Sata Technical Committee. Okay? President Lungu assented to that constitution. You remember that was signed in the stadium. That constitutional review had some very good clauses that limited the powers of the president. At the time, President Lungu was just signing. I think he wanted to score political cause. I don't know if he knew or whatnot. After he signed, later on he realized, whoa, this constitutional that I signed into law had some provisions that I didn't like. So he constituted Bill 10. They started working on Bill 10. If you remember. They wanted to amend the Constitution just like this government is doing. They didn't like some of the things. He signed, President Lungu, may his soul rest in peace, President Lungu signed that Constitution. Barely 5 years later, he wanted to start amending the Constitution again. And some of us came back on this very app and said, President, no, that's not right. You shouldn't do that. Just because you don't like what is in the Constitution now, you want to amend it. This is the same Constitution you just signed in the stadium. Now, you got to understand that one of those provisions was the removal of MPs to sit in the city councils, in the local government councils. MPs were removed. Because the people of Zambia felt MPs were influencing, they were bringing a lot of politics in the way that councils were run. The people of Zambia also said in that constitution that was signed by President Lungu that council chairpersons were to be apolitical. They were going to be removed. You were not going to stand as council chairperson on politics. They were going to be neutral people. The people of Zambia were doing this because councils were heavily politicized. We wanted the local government that was devoid of party politics. Because if you think about it, councils run markets. Councils run public transportation stations. Councils are the ones in charge of markets and streets and cleaning and all that local government activities. And so the people of Zambia wanted councils that were less politicized. And those amendments were included in the previous constitution amendment process. Barely 10 years later, we want to change that and bring back the MPs in the councils. Now, which people have recommended that? Which people are we referring to here again? Because we, the people, decided to remove MPs out of the city councils and local councils. And then 10 years later, you tell me we've changed our minds. We want now MPs back at the councils. That's not accurate. That's not accurate. So to amend the constitution, to put MPs back into the councils, that is not okay. That is not okay. That is not okay. I just think that we should be able to agree that the constitution will not have everything we all want. At the end of the day, the constitution is not going to encompass everything that everyone wants. The constitution will have subsidiary laws that governs everything else. Otherwise, every president, every single 5-year term, they will have to amend the constitution to suit their personal political desires. Point number 2. Let me talk about, so those of you that are for the amendment of the constitution are saying we don't know what parts are bad. I'm telling you right now, returning MPs into the council is a bad idea. It's a very bad idea. It shouldn't. Aligning, there was a reason why Zambians in the last amendment said mayors must also serve 2 terms. 2 terms, and that's it. Mayors and council chairpersons must serve 2 terms. 2 terms. There was a reason why. Because there was a lot of corruption. You got to remember, mayors and council chairpersons are elected. And so if a mayor is found to be wanting or to be corrupt, there was no other way of removing the mayor out of office until the Minister of Local Government either suspends that council, and if they were on the same party and they agree and this mayor is actually corrupt, you have no way of removing him. One way that democracies work to check on the powers of a person in power is through elections. And sometimes elections don't work, especially if the mayor is also aligned with the ruling party. Okay? If the mayor is aligned with the ruling party, it is usually very hard to remove them even if they are corrupt or they're doing something wrong. And so we had mayors in Zambia in the past that stayed for 10, 20 years. One mayor. Because they had entrenched politically themselves into the society, and they used all kinds of methods, political or otherwise, to keep themselves in power. And so the people of Zambia said, no, this is unfair. We are going to have a constitution that aligns the mayor's terms to the presidential terms. And so the mayors began every 5 years, the mayors, if you serve 2 terms, that's it. We have to have a new mayor. I think that is a good policy. What is wrong with that? If many of you youths want to become mayors, that's how we have the youngest mayor in Chipata. That's why we had mayors like Kangombe, Christopher Kangombe. Kangombe Christopher became mayor of Kitwe and they subsequently became an MP. How do you then promote youthful participation in these roles if you remove that clause? If you change it back to Muyayaya, when will the youth serve? When will the youth serve? If one mayor can serve for 30 years, when will you become a mayor of Chipata, of Mongo, of Kabwe, of Mansa? Some of you that are supporting this bill, you're shooting yourselves in the foot. Removing the clause, tying the mayors to 2 terms, a maximum of 2 terms, is retrogressive. That's why one of the reasons I don't support this bill. You understand? It has nothing to do with the president. It has nothing to do with, I'm telling you right now, one of the reasons, because you've been challenging people, what don't you like? What don't you like about the bill? Number 3, let me tell you what else I don't like about this bill. The delimitation. The delimitation of the constituencies is a very popular clause. And I know you won't agree with me, and that's okay. That's what democracy is. Democracy is that we are not going to all agree, even if we belong to the same party. That's what democracy is about. We can't all agree in a country of 20 million people. And so here is another point. Let me come to the delimitation. The delimitation problem I have with delimitation, the way it's being done. And a lot of you are saying, no, the constituencies are so big. Let's define big. What do you mean when you say the constituencies are big? Let's start from there, because that's very important. That's a very important point you guys have been making. What do you mean when you say the constituency is too big? I know what you guys mean. You think Kanchibia is too big in terms of geography. Too big. What does too big means? Too big to you guys, most of you, is the distance. The distance from here to there. The distance from there to there. But what I'm telling you myself is, no. The size in terms of geography shouldn't be the reason for delimiting a constituency. The only real rationale that you should be delimiting a constituency is when the population grows. When the population in the constituency grows, that's when delimitation should happen. And so some of the constituencies, some of you have been giving as an example for delimiting them, don't need to be delimitated. Huh? Let's take Kanchibia. Kanchibia is a very big constituency, or Katombola. It's a very big constituency in terms of size, not the population. The size of the constituency, the geographic size of the constituency, should not be the basis for delimiting or splitting it. Because, let me tell you the mistake you're making. If you take the size of the population and you have sparsely populated people there, it's really sparsely populated. It's not densely populated, sparsely populated. People are fewer, but it's big. If you split it, you're going to split those fewer people into two. So a constituency, for example, that had 10 people, now you split it in half. You have now 5 people here, or 6 people here, and you have 4 people here. I'm giving you an example, a mathematical example. You're going to have 6 people here, and you're going to have 4 people here. Now what you have is 2 constituents with even fewer people in them. And you're giving those same 2 constituents the same amount of money. Because the way the CDF is being given out now, it's being given out equal measure. And so, if Kanchibia gets 40 million kwacha in the budget, Matero will get 40 million kwacha in the budget. And Chilanga constituency and Kafua constituency and Livingston constituency who get the same. And so when you split the constituency that has 10 people, you split it in half. One of them will be 6, the other one will be 4, or another one will be 7, the other one will be 3. So what you have now is you're giving each one of those people 40 million kwacha each. There is no proportionality in there. There's no proportionality in there. How are you going to give 3 people 40 million and 7 people 40 million? How is that fair? If the argument is that we have to be fair, the constituencies are big. If it's big by size and splitting it, when it has only 10 people, you split it, one has 7, one has 3. How are you going to split the budgeting? You gotta understand these things. You gotta, when you argue why, when you use rational points to argue your case, use these examples. Use these examples. You have to be objective. We have to be objective in the way that we do things as a country. If you split, now, if you split Kanchibia, and I'm giving Kanchibia, my good friend Sunday Chanda's constituency. If you split Kanchibia into 2, and each of those two now, there's now 2 constituencies in Kanchibia, Kanchibia 1, Kanchibia 2. You create another constituency. What happens to the budget? What happens to the national budget? My position is that this delimitation, while it's popular, is not urgent. What is urgent is productivity in the economy. Political positions are not going to be the solution for your jobs. You, the youths, are not going to be involved in that. How many of you are going to be MPs after this constitution, after this delimitation is done? How many of you are going to be MPs? Very few, if not any. By the time it's said and done, you're going to increase the cost on the national treasury. The cost of the budget will go up. First and foremost, you need to fund those new constituencies with offices, with CDF, plus salary for the MP, the new MP, and this gratuity. None of that money is coming to you as an individual. In a country where you need more power stations, in a country where you need more agricultural extension officers, in a country where you need more hospitals and clinics, you need more scanning machines. Radiology is non-existent in most of our clinics. You can't even have a proper x-ray. If you went to Petauke General Hospital, if you went to Mansa General Hospital, if you went to Mwense General Hospital, if you went to Kaputa Clinic, if you went to Sorwezi General Hospital, you don't have x-rays. You don't have MRI machines. And today, you, the same people, are calling for the increase on the political cost, on the budget. You, the same people that can't even get Panadols, that can't even get a doctor, a qualified doctor to see you. You, the same people, will be crying there are no medicines. You, the same people that are calling for the delimitation that will increase the cost of the budget in the country, will be the ones crying that at cancer center in Lusaka has no medicine. You be the ones saying, my child, my husband is sick with cancer and we don't have medication. You be the same people. You be the same people telling this government is not working because this government has used all the money. Where is the money going? The money is going to create new constituencies. The money is going to buy new cars for the CDF. Money is going to pay today. They're going to pay gratuities for 50 new MPs. The budget on gratuity alone, just look at how many of you know how much an MP is going to get? This parliament is about to end very soon because we are going to the general election. Do you know how much each MP is going to get as gratuity? Who can tell me? Let me push up because you people always support things. It's the poor that support politicians. It's the poor that support the politicians. Politicians who come to you, it's good that we delimitate the constituency, that we split them. For whose benefit? For whose benefit? Politicians. Because they want their friends to be elected as MPs. My brothers, those of you that are saying the geography matters because of service delivery, we live in the age of technology. We live in an age of technology. There is no distance. This issue of distance is neither here or there. It's neither here or there. A good road between Mwense and Mansa, a good road between Mansa or Mwense and Kawambwa should eliminate all those issues of service delivery. Every district in Zambia must have the same standards in terms of service provision. There is no need for anyone from Kaputa or from Mwense to travel to Mansa for any medical procedure or processes. It has to be done within Mwense. Why should a citizen in Mwense travel to Mansa General Hospital to get medical treatment? That's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is it's not because we don't want delimitation. Delimitation is necessary in cases where you have overpopulation and the proportional distribution of the money in that constituency is not enough. And also you have to also gauge, is this an urgent issue? You have to gauge and say, is this a national priority? On the list of priorities that we have as a nation, which comes first? Solving the energy crisis we are in should be number one. And I want to commend the president for allocating and investing $100 million in each constituency. If you remember, if you follow me here, I was one of the few people who called for each constituency or district to have its own solar power plant. Last year, I called for that. I am glad that someone somewhere also was thinking the same. And today, the president has done exactly what we've been calling for. Each constituency must have its own solar power plant. And all that power to be generated in that constituency should go to housing, to small scale businesses. It should power that constituency. When power is generated in that constituency, it should go to the people. Do not put that into national grid and send it to the mines We want that power generated within the constitution to power the people. That's good. That's an emergency. That's an emergency. All the resources should be going to that. Number 2, agriculture. We need irrigation. We are not going to rely on rain-fed crop production, rain-fed, all that. We need the young people. The 4 million young people that are unemployed in Zambia is an emergency issue. All the people, all the 4 million unemployed youths in Zambia, that's an emergency issue. Me, I want the president to focus on that. Not this constitutional making process, which is not an agent. The president must focus on solving unemployment, chronic unemployment in Zambia. That is priority. And we are calling on him to do that. I support this president, for God's sake. You guys know me. I support President Hakainde Hichilema. I just don't agree that Bill 7 is an urgent national priority. The Bill 7 is not a national priority. I submit. And, you know, it's up to you guys to decide where you put me. What I'm telling you is, right now, Bill 7 is not a priority. Priority should be employment creation in the country. 4 million young people are unemployed right now in Zambia. More are going to graduate out of all the universities and colleges across the country in the next few months. Where are they going to work? Where are the jobs? Now, I agree and I submit that the president has done so well on the economic front. Has he done enough? No, he hasn't finished. Now that we have restructured the debt, the next step is to now put a Marshall Plan of industrialization to absorb all these young people that are unemployed across Zambia. That is a priority. That is his legacy. President Hakainde's legacy is already being written. The legacy of having solved one of the most difficult tasks a president can be given, solving the economic quagmire. That's it. This constitutional making process is not even among the top priorities. It's probably number 5 in the national priorities that we have. We need better maternity wards. We need better clinics filled with medication and radiology. We need development. And I'm very, 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 very disappointed. Some of you, I get it. You support the president no matter what. You support the president no matter what. Someone is asking me, genuinely, I'll answer you, Chimunya. You don't contribute anything to this country, Zambia, at any level. Chimunya, that's the thing right there. If you knew me, you wouldn't say such a silly thing. You wouldn't say such a silly thing. Between you and me, you wouldn't say such a silly thing. But let's get back to the point I'm making. The point is simple. Those of us that do not support this process, do not understand why people have to call others' name. I support President Hakainde. Most of you know that I support this president. You call me a praise singer every day. I just do not think that the constitutional amendment process right now is necessary. It's not necessary. And this is me. Now, the opposition, political parties in Zambia might be driven by opposing everything that the president does. That's on them. That's on them. But as a Zambian, I'm telling you right now, this is my opinion. And believe you me, what I'm telling you is this thing might actually pass. This thing might actually pass, okay? That's okay. You're going to win as majority. You have the majority in parliament. If this thing goes to parliament tomorrow, all UPND MPs will vote for it. Others will vote for it. It will pass. Once it passes, it becomes the constitution. What I'm asking from you is, when you do that, just know the implications. Me, I like to tell people the implications. An MP, right now, as we speak, this MP is about to finish their term. They're going to get gratuities, and it's about how much is the gratuity for MPs? How much is the gratuity? 1.2 million kwacha. 1.2 million kwacha by 150 MPs. I don't know how many we have now as nominated MPs. Let's just say 150 MPs. We are talking about 168 million kwacha will be paid out as gratuities to all the serving MPs. Okay? If we increase the MPs to 211 at current gratuity level of about 1.2 million, we're talking about 253 million kwacha that will be paying out in gratuities if we amend the constitution. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you remove 168 million from this, we will be increasing the cost. We will be increasing the cost of gratuity by about 85 million kwacha per period of term that they save. I want you to know that. So that when you see the government doesn't build a new hospital or doesn't employ new teachers or doesn't employ nurses, don't complain. Don't complain. You are the people who complain, don't complain. Okay? Increasing MPs to about 211 of them, gratuity alone will increase by about not less than 80 million kwacha to MPs. This is money in their pockets. Not in your pocket. This money is not going to go in your pocket. It will go in the politician's pocket. So thank you. You're creating employments for more politicians. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Maybe I can also come and become an MP now, somewhere, after delimitation. Yeah. You're creating employments for people like me. Not for yourselves. For people like me who's already employed. I can just switch now from private sector to politics. Why not? You're creating me a position. That is just gratuity alone on the budget. 80 million kwacha. That is just gratuity. This money can go to pay farmers. FRA ran out of money because we overproduced maize. There is no money to pay farmers. And you the poor, are telling government, employ more MPs instead of paying farmers this 80 million. You'll be paying politicians. That's why people say poor people vote against, support things against themselves. You are the ones demanding for delimitation. You are not going to even enjoy anything out of delimitation. But 80 million, no, we are very glad you, the politicians, we are going to even give you more jobs and we'll give you a gratuity of over 85 million kwacha. You are the people creating jobs for politicians. There is not, listen, Biri Kangale, imwe muyankeni uyu Biri Kangale uyu, which has more multiplicative effect, a trickle-down effect of development. Spending 85 million to give politicians, or we pay farmers 85 million, which has more multiplicative effect? Which one has more trickle-down effect? Muyankeni uyu, iwe Biri Kangale, tell me, 80 million to pass my politician or to pass my farmers, which one is better? Niyanke, trickle-down effect is more felt if you take money and put it in farmers' hands. Because those farmers will grow more maize. No, I'm not missing a point. You are the one missing a point. That's why you are here to be educated. You have missed the point. The point is that delimitation is not the priority right now. I'm not saying it's important. It's not important. It's not just one of those national priorities when we are facing acute energy crisis. That's the point I'm telling you. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. We are facing crises in the country. FRA ran out of money. FRA ran out of money to pay farmers. Some farmers are not yet paid up to now when they supplied their maize to FRA. So which is better? To pay allowances to the technical committee for making the constitution or pay farmers? Which is which? Choose. Sankapo chameno ufuna tipase ma allowances kwa technical committee or government 20 or 30 or 100 or we pay farmers. That's what I'm saying. You're not getting the point. These are priorities. It's an issue of ranking priorities in the country. What do we need? More engineers. Instead of creating constituencies, we need to create more farm blocks and fund those farm blocks. That's it. That is the basis of my argument against Bill 7. Now, I'm not lost. You are very disinformed and misled. Delimitation doesn't automatically, extend development to far-flung areas. We have technology now. We have technology now. Development can be taken anywhere by the snap of the fingers. It don't need to be a no, let's split it. So it's close to who? Close to who? Close to who? Close to who? You're dividing a constituency so that it's close to who? To an MP? Thank you, Kelly. Kelly's Mushota. It's as simple as that. Cost-benefit analysis. Do we need to spend another 100 million kwacha on politicians? Or should we spend 100 million kwacha on a farmer that is producing maize? Or buying irrigation equipment and distributing it to farmers? Which is which? That is the point. Which do we pick? Making more politicians, creating more political jobs, or creating more productive farmers? That is the choice you have. So when you ask us and tell us that, no, give us the reasons why you don't like Bill 7. I'm giving you the reasons. Maybe the opposition don't know the reasons why they should, they don't support, or WAS Forum. Or WAS Forum maybe needs to hire me so that I share with them why Bill 7 is not right in this season, in this time. It's simple. It's simple. And listen to me. Me saying this doesn't mean I don't support the president. That's the beauty about democracy. That's the beauty about the constitutional making process. Because it's the Constitution transcends beyond a president. The Constitution transcends beyond a party. The Constitution goes beyond anyone Zambia. That's how this document is important. That's how important this document is. If you take monthly allowances, monthly salaries, fuel expenses, you're doubling the cost of running legislature. Parliament is becoming too big. We don't need more politicians. We need more doctors. We need specialized doctors. We need neurosurgeons. We need cardiologists. We need specialized training. And sometimes we can't get those specialized training. If you're going to spend 80 million, I would rather you use that, send 5 young children from Zambia, send them to China, send them to USA, send them to Canada, let them have specialized training in cardiology, in neurosurgery, in pondily, in different specialties, okay? And then bring them back home and put them in these hospitals as specialists. You understand me? The amendment of the Constitution at lightning speed is suspicious. I said it. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to say what you want to say. We need specialized training in healthcare, in education, in agriculture. We need more agricultural research centers. These are things that are going to give you employment, young people. Those young people that support, look here, everyone has a choice. You can support this, give us your reasons. I've given you my reasons why I don't support Bill 7. Again, thank you guys for listening.